Time now for a holiday-themed edition of Ask the Garden Guy. We have questions today from people who have met or run into Derek Thomas, our garden expert for Thomas Landscapes, out in public. And they ask him questions, looking for some free advice, I guess, Derek. And so these are some of the most frequently asked questions that you've gotten during the last couple of weeks. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me,
Yes,
Tony.
and Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you.
All right, question number one. Is Allison Seymour as pretty in person?
Absolutely.
All right.
And I get that a lot.
I'm sure you do.
A lot of people tell me that I'm very, very fortunate to be working with you guys. So, yeah.
I get the same thing about you and Allison. All right. First question, this is a good one. It's about how do you make poinsettias rebloom? This person here, how can you make poinsettias bloom or rebloom? The plant that I have stayed alive all year, but it isn't blooming for Christmas. All right.
Right. And you know, the thing to remember about poinsettias are a plant that are affected by light. They're similar to chrysanthemums. They will bloom when you have a period of absolute darkness, and it has to be a set amount of time. So the way that greenhouses get poinsettias to bloom when we want them to look nice is by having greenhouses that have the proper apparatus to create absolute darkness. The reason that your plant will grow and continue to grow is because poinsettias are basically very easy to grow plants. Now, one thing that was asked to me, the plant itself, you know, what you have is what we see as being attractive, the red, is actually a modified leaf that's called a bract. In the very center of that bract is where the flower is. The flower is quite insignificant, and that's why sometimes you can lose all the leaves on your poinsettia and still have the red bracts last well into the next year. So reblooming, leave it to the professionals. An attractive plant in your landscape, absolutely.
All right, very, very interesting. Okay, question number two. We got a new pine tree as a gift, but we planted it and it died. What happened?
Well, little pine trees like this, and you would think that this is a cold, hardy pine tree. It's not. It's a tropical pine. And there are Norfolk pines, there's this kind of pine. This resembles a blue spruce a lot. The thing about it is plants have cells that are different than ours. And when a cold hardy plant gets triggered by cold, they will expel the water from the cells and therefore not freeze. Your non-cold hardy pines, even though they look like our friendly cold hardy pines, are not. So consult the garden center when you buy the gift plants at this time of the year to find out if it's a hardy, like a blue spruce or a Norfolk or something like that. The Norfolk looks like it's hardy, but it's not.
So all pines are not created equally?
All pines are not created equally.
I assume the one that does not expel that water keeps it and then freezes?
What happens is the cell freezes, it ruptures, and it renders the plant dead.
Okay, very interesting.
Little biology. Little biology.
I like it. You know a lot of stuff. That's good. All right, our next question. Someone wrote in about, or asked you a question about their holly tree. Their holly tree never gets any berries, but our neighbor's tree is full of berries. What's up with that?
Hollies are sexually dioecious.
I'm sorry?
They're dioecious, which means most plants have it figured out. In the flower, it has all the male parts, all the female parts, and therefore they can self-pollinate in a pinch.
Wow.
Hollies, the flowers are dioecious, which means the male holly plant only has the male parts. The female holly plant only has the female parts. So what's happening, most likely, our viewer that wrote in that, most likely their plant is doing the pollinating for the hollies that have the beautiful berries. Now, there are some times when a holly that produces berries normally will not have berries. And those times can be if the plant is a male, if there's no male in the vicinity, and the vicinity area is usually about a 2-mile radius, and if in the spring, when the female plant has produced the flowers, we get a late freeze, or in midsummer, we get a very, very dry summer. Sometimes the plant, to preserve itself, will drop its berries. And lastly, you cannot prune your holly in late spring, or summer, because what you have done is pruned off the immature berries.
All right. There's a lot going on in my garden that I didn't know about. All right, there you go. That's some good information for you.
They're all holiday-appropriate questions.
Right.
We get a lot
absolutely.
all the time, but these are very, very timely. And so, you know, if your holly's not producing it and you know that it's a female, there's a couple things that you can do to save it.
Okay, all right. It sounds like the bottom line consult a professional. They can help you out.
Absolutely.
Right. Derek Thomas, is this the last time we see you before Christmas?
No, this is the last time before Christmas. Absolutely.
All right, so we'll see you after Christmas.
After Christmas, we've got a great segment coming up for you.
Thank you very much, sir.